All right, guys. Well, good morning to everyone in the live trading room. I see you all tuning in and getting ready to make some money today. And for everyone on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. Smash that like button and subscribe button, and let's just get started. So, it's the last day of the month, and it's been a hell of a month. The volatility this week has picked up tremendously. This morning, at around 6 a.m., the market was gapping down. Now we're gapping up. Here you can see the NASDAQ, the triple Qs, gapping up to 316. And the S&P 500, let me see the S&P, gapping up to, 384. Here's the thing though. Pull up the daily charts on both of them, and you'll see that this gap up is very tiny compared to the sell-off that we had yesterday. On the S&P 500, look at that huge red engulfing candle on the sell-off on the daily chart. And then the same with the NASDAQ, right? I'm like, I like the gap up. You know, I wonder if it's a dead cat bounce, right? And I'm sure many of you have heard that saying. The sell-off yesterday was pretty damn rough, right? And today you're getting a little bounce, but is it a dead cat just bouncing? You know, are we going to sell off today? Are we going to rally today? I don't know. But what I can say is this: we're going to trade the heck out of it. Doesn't matter which direction it goes. So, with that being said, I am going to keep an eye on the triple Qs. Why? Because the triple Qs are the ones is the ETF in the market, the NASDAQ, is the market that's getting really hit because of the mega cap stocks, right? And the theme is that the valuations are now in question because the rise in interest rates and the rise in the 10-year yield is a threat to the way that Wall Street has been valuing these huge tech stocks. 40% of the NASDAQ a couple days ago was trading at above like 30 to 40 times its earnings, you know, on a forward basis. So the valuations were high. That's why you see Apple, for instance, just getting crushed, you know, and especially the semiconductors, a lot of the tech names. So Tesla, for instance. So with the Qs, if it wants to break out, fine. We can maybe play for a quick pop. But if it breaks below 315 area, I'm going to go in for some puts on the triple Qs. All right. So that's my play with the triple Qs. Tesla. Tesla is the second name I'm gonna watch on my A list. If Tesla gets bought up today, fine. Let's play it. $700 calls on this bull flag that is sitting right now in pre-market. If it fails and falls below 692, 690, oh baby, get some puts and let's play it to the downside. All right. So that's my play on Tesla. Very tight range right now on Tesla, which is exactly what we want. GameStop. GameStop was amazing yesterday. You guys, if you didn't trade it yesterday, take a look at the trade of the day video and take a look at the other video that I posted on how exactly I traded GameStop and Tesla. GameStop presented like 4 to 5 different opportunities yesterday, and it was just amazing. And today, it is gapping up a little bit in a nice, actually tighter consolidation, which is better for us because that means our risk on GameStop is going to be way less than it was yesterday. So if GameStop rips above like 125, I'm definitely going to get in it, and I'll put my stops at around 120. And my first target is going to be that 130 mark, that pre-market high. If we can break above 130, then we're on a ripster. Now, if GameStop, if we start seeing it fail 118, and if it fails 116, I'm going to go short it. So yesterday, the first trade of the day, Taj and I shorted GameStop from like $140, and it paid us huge. So don't be afraid to short GameStop. You know, just trade with smaller size if you have to, and just manage your risk. You just got to keep those stops really tight. And if you get stopped out, don't worry. You can revisit the trade and get back in if the opportunity presents itself again. So there's my long idea, there's my short idea on GameStop. Another name that I'm going to watch is BYND. Why? Pull up a 2-day chart. Look at the earnings report. When they reported earnings yesterday, the stock sold off to $128 and then rallied to $170, sold off again, and now it's at $155. Clearly, investors don't know what the hell to do with this stock, right? There's some good news and there's some bad news with it. Let me give you the synopsis, right? The bad news is that they really didn't do too hot from a revenue and from an earnings perspective. But the good news is that they secured new deals to expand their like new channels to sell their meatless products, or whatever you call them. So that's why it's kind of gapping up, but it's a very weak gap up in my opinion. If you pull up a longer term chart, you'll see that Beyond Meat just a couple weeks ago was trading at $220, and now we're 50, actually almost $100 below that. It looks weak to me, so I kind of have a short bias on it. But hey, if it wants to rally, let's go for it. We can go for a long. So right now it is at the higher end of its pre-market, trading session. So I would prefer a little pullback and then see a reversal before I go long. But if Beyond Meat fails and breaks below 152, I'll go in for the short, put stops at 155. If it decides to rally, I have to kind of just wait for a setup. And what I mean by a setup is I gotta wait for a bull flag. I gotta see if there's a reversal, maybe some consolidation and then a breakout. I gotta see one of those setups before going long on BYND. But BYND is an A-list stock for me today. Okay, so I talked about BYND, GameStop. I talked about Tesla, Triple Qs. I've got two more names, and then I'll pass it on to Taj. RKT. RKT, Rocket Companies, the CEO was just on CNBC talking about their earnings report. The stock has almost a 40% short flow. And they actually had really good earnings, really, really good earnings. And the stock gapped up. Yesterday it closed at $19.90, gapped up and traded to above $24. It is bull flagging right now. So if RKT wants to rip even more, we can take it, go long from 24 range. Definitely if it breaks out of 24.20, you want to be long it. But I'm going to put my stops at like 23.70 around there. Okay, keep it really tight. So I'm only going to risk about 50 cents at most per share. If it sells off, then we've kind of have to wait for a setup, maybe like a bear flag setup, maybe some consolidation, then a break before we can go short on it. But if it fails the $23 range, then yeah, this could probably come back to 22, 21, right? Maybe it'll just fade a little bit, but the earnings was really good, so I do think that this could rally. It's got some good volume in pre-market, so let's also monitor the volume as it's trading throughout the day to see if this will continue to the upside. So I like Rocket. One other name is Virgin Galactic. Space. So Space reported earnings, and granted, they pretty much have no earnings. So they didn't do too hot, and it's gapping down. Closed yesterday at 42.24. It's gapping down to $37. I like the range on it today. I like where this could potentially go. On the daily chart, it's a broken chart. I mean, it broke, just really bad. So let me actually adjust this to see where the 50-day moving average is at for on the daily chart. Oh, it's actually sitting right on its 50-day. Its 50-day moving average is at 37.40. So it's 40 cents below it right now. So, which makes sense why it's holding this area. The thing about this is that it is extended to the downside. The upper Bollinger Band is at 39.24 and it's trading at 37. I do think that we could get a bounce on Virgin Galactic today. Just from the steep sell-off. If we do get a bounce on it, I would need it to break above $38. If it breaks above 38 bucks, we can go for a long, put our stops at 37.40, right? You're risking 60 cents on the trade. We could probably get, 39, 39.50 before maybe it curls back around and fades, right? If we see Virgin Galactic just dump, if it breaks that pre-market low of 35.80, you definitely want to be in on the short. And if it breaks that pre-market low, I'll go in for the short and I'll put my stops at 36.25, which is what? A 45, 50 cent risk on the trade. So that's my idea on Virgin Galactic, Gamestop, Tesla, Triple Qs, Rocket, and what was the other name? BYND. So I do have some other names that are going to be on my B list, like Airbnb, CCIV, PLTR, DraftKings, but I'm not going to go over them in detail. I'm just going to pass it on to Taj and go from there. So Taj, let us know, man.
Yeah, so I'm going to have about 3 to 4 names that I'll be adding to the list. Primarily, a lot of the names that Alex went over, though, are going to also be on my A list, specifically Rocket, GameStop, and Virgin Galactic. Those are pretty much my big 3 for the day. So a lot of the names I'll be going over will mostly be the B-list stocks, but could potentially turn into A-list names, and I'm going to explain why. So the first I'm going to go over is NEO. So NEO actually had a nice bounce along with the rest of the market, right off of the lows. It dipped down a little below 44 bucks, which is right there with support right here at $42. But then caught a nice bounce. We're now trading at $47. So it's already moved 3 points just from the pre-market action alone. That lets us know NEO is going to be moving today, right, along with the rest of the market. But the good thing about NEO is when it moves, it's usually pretty rewarding. So the way I played NEO, it's actually bull flag here. Broke out of a bull flag earlier. But if we break out of around 47.30, we can look for a long. Place our stops around 46.70, about a 60-cent risk. And there's really no big resistance until around 48.30, 48.40. So we can easily score a 2-to-1 off of this trade. Granted, if NEO starts selling off and dips below 46.40, we could potentially look for a short and just throw our stops at 47.30. I'm a little more short biased coming into the market today. Like Alex said, if you look at the SPYs, the gap up is a nice gap up. However, if you're looking at it compared to yesterday's price action, it's actually not that significant. The SPYs had an $11 range yesterday. We're only gapping up 1 point. Yep. From yesterday's close, so it's really not that significant. I'd much prefer to short today, and that's kind of what I plan on doing coming into the day. But not going to be married to the idea if the market starts rebounding, then I'll trade it accordingly, right? With that being said, another name I'll be watching is Apple. Apple's another name, along with the SPYs and the Qs, that had a very tough day yesterday. Erased a lot of the rally that it had over the past couple of days and bounced during the pre-market action. We closed yesterday around 121. We're currently trading around 122, a few cents above 122. So it's also getting a nice bounce, about $1 bounce. However, it is showing some weaknesses up here at the intraday high. We had a bull flag form right here around 122.50. It tried to break out. It's currently failing it. Volume is picking up a bit as well. So the way I see it, if Apple starts dipping below 122, we can look for a short. There are stops here at 122.70. Yeah, it's actually about to trigger the short here shortly. Hopefully Apple kind of subsides a little bit and we can potentially find an entry on this. But if that ends up triggering, Apple continues to sell off, we'll have to be a little more patient if we don't catch it during the market open, and wait for a better entry off of a bear flag or something like that. So Apple is another name I'll have pretty high on the list, along with Alex mentioned this on his B-list name, but I also really like to play, and that's PLTR. PLTR had a nice rally off of this low from 22.88. If I'm not mistaken, this was even lower than yesterday's low of 23.15. So we were able to crack a new low on PLTR from yesterday's low. But as you can see, volume really kicked in and started to rally for PLTR. So we rallied all the way up to 24.50, 24.60. But now we're getting a little bit of selling pressure here. So PLTR, in order to go long, I would like to see it reclaim 24.50. And hopefully we can find a better stop. But as of now, our stops would actually have to be around $24. For the short, it's a little tough to find the short play as of now. We'll have to wait for the market to open because I can't find a reasonable stop as of late. But if you wanted to be aggressive with the short out of the gates, I guess you could short it around 23.80. 30 stops around 24.30. Again, that would be a very aggressive short, so I wouldn't recommend to do that, especially out of the open. But let's see what PLTR does out of the gates. It's going to be heavily traded today. The pre-market volume is very, very good. So I would definitely just keep an eye on PLTR. I'm going to have it on, although it's on my B list, I'm going to have it just sitting on one of my go-to charts. So just definitely keep an eye on PLTR. The last one I'll go over is Mara. This is going to be on the B list as well. The thing I really like about Mara is it had a very ugly day yesterday, coming right into the daily 8 of May. And today, we're breaking down below the 20 of May. And we're coming near that support of $26. So the way Mara behaved today, it was yesterday right near its low at $30.60. We're gapping down nearly 3 points, down to 27.80, 27.90. And there's a lot of selling pressure with this stock. I know the cryptocurrencies have been bleeding out a bit. Nothing too harsh over the past couple days, but it looks like Mars feeling the wrath of that pullback that crypto is having. I'm feeling it a little heavier than even crypto is. So the way I see it, if Mars starts to break down below 27.30, we can look for shorts, place our stops around $28, and see if we can test that $26 price zone. I believe that's the only support zone that we have coming up on the daily chart. Yep, sure is. So if it starts breaking down below that, I mean, there's really no significant support until around $22. There's a small gap window here from about $24 to $25. So that could potentially serve as a support. So keep an eye on that. Like I said, if Mars starts breaking down right around this price zone, you can definitely see it test 26, 25, possibly even 23 if it really starts to feel the selling pressure. But other than that, like I said, the names that Alex mentioned earlier, the overall SPYs, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Gamestop. That's probably going to be my #1 stock, along with Rocket. That's going to be my big two. Just keep an eye on those. There's going to be a lot of opportunity with these names. Gamestop actually looks like it's possibly breaking down here. It's testing that support zone here around 116.
Yep.
So hopefully it doesn't happen, right? Waits for us to play out. And then also Space. Space is going to be on my watch list. So those are going to be my big three coming to the gates, and a lot of the names that I mentioned earlier are just going to be my B list. So let's get to it, man. You know,
Yeah.
Let's try to end the month off solidly. Let's not go for big home run. Yesterday we didn't even go for a big home run. It just presented itself to us. So let's let that happen again. It's going to be a home run. Let's let it happen naturally rather than force it.
Exactly. That's the great way to wrap it up. So thanks for tuning in, guys, on YouTube, and we'll see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend.